Hey everyone, what's going on? Axl Cones joining you. I am flying solo today. I'm just basically here to give my monologue on the 2020 National Football League season. The reason I'm flying solo tonight is I'm going through a lot personally in my life, and I just want to make sure I get this one out because I'm probably going to be on for a while. So with that said, let me see what I found this week. Our first stop is headline Las Vegas, Nevada. Adam Pac-Man Jones allegedly hit an exotic dancer at the Sin City strip club in Vegas. The stripper fell off the stage and slammed her head on the stage. When a security guard intervened, a scuffle broke out. Eventually, a person in Jones's entourage returned with a gun and fired into the crowd. 2 guards were shot, as well as a former professional wrestler, Tommy Urbanski, who was paralyzed from the waist down. The 31-year-old Jones pleaded no contest to conspiracy to commit disorderly conduct and got a year of probation for his role in the melee. In June of 2012, a jury awarded Urbanski and his wife $11 million in damages. Aaron Cudworth, the other security officer, received $1.3 million. Jones was also suspended by the NFL for 1 year following the incident. When asked about his strip club obsession, Jones responded with, and I quote,
At the time, and the strip clubs are like regular clubs, but, I haven't been in a strip club in, 2 years now, a year and a half, year and almost 3 years, whatever it is. I haven't been in a strip club since that incident, I live and I learn, I liked it, the strip club.
Strip club. I blame the educational system. Headline Charlotte, North Carolina. Wide receiver Ray Caruth's girlfriend, Cherika Adams, the woman carrying his baby at the time, was shot 4 times in a drive-by shooting. She survived long enough to call 911. She described to the dispatchers that Caruth pulled up in front of her, stopped his car so she could not move. The assailants soon drove up next to her and shot her. Caruth was found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, shooting into an occupied vehicle, and using an instrument to destroy an unborn child. He was found not guilty of first-degree murder and was spared the death penalty. He was sentenced to 18 to 24 years in prison. This seemed pretty unnecessary Sopranos-type hit, considering he could have done the same job with a flight of stairs and a wire coat hanger. Headline, Bleacher Report released their top 20 worst criminals in the NFL history. Coming in at number 1 was Robert Rozier. After playing his career, Rozier did time for his series of petty crimes. After his release, he found Yahweh Ben Yahweh's Temple of Love. From there, Rozier went on to join Yahweh's secret group, the Brotherhood. To gain acceptance into this group, applicants had to murder a, quote, white devil and return with a body part to prove it. Rozier admitted to killing not 1, but 7 white devils. FYI, Don Trump Jr. is still walking around, so if there are any other Brotherhood recruits watching... Headline, Cleveland, Ohio. During a Thursday night football game, Cleveland Brown Myles Garrett, during an altercation, ripped the helmet off of a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph and hit him over the head with it. Garrett, 6 days later, appealed his indefinite suspension handed down by the NFL. Video evidence clearly shows Garrett using the helmet as a weapon, but thought it was a good idea to appeal it anyway. Here's how this meeting should have gone down. Mr. Garrett, please have a seat. Is this video accurate?
10 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, 4 passes defensed, and now a sack.
Yeah, he'll be the AFC Defensive Player of the Week.
You're giving it to him right now.
I am.
Here's a flag as... Whoa!
Hello.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Mason Rudolph got into
needs
it.
to get out of there.
What in the world? Believe Myles Garrett?
There'll be
swinging a helmet?
Yeah, there'll be some ejections coming out of this.
There may be suspensions.
That's right, suspensions.
was Garrett. That was well after the play. And here it is.
Well, he tackled Rudolph. Rudolph didn't like the way that he was tackled.
Oh, gosh.
Man.
Oh, man. Oh. Oh, my goodness. Rips the helmet off Rudolph's head and then eventually swings it and hits him in the head. And then Ogunjobi comes up and hits Rudolph from behind.
Beyond words, Joe.
Oh, my gosh. That's one of the worst things I've ever seen on a professional sports field.
You know, Joe, I have been involved with these in the league office, and it would come to officiating first and then go upstairs for discipline. But this is beyond the normal discipline. This is beyond the normal fine. I think you're absolutely right. It's a foul period to take a guy's helmet off and swing it and use it as a weapon. Automatic ejection by rule. But it goes beyond that now to possible suspension. Of course, then Pouncey, was it Pouncey that was kicking and throwing the punches?
Well,
that's another one.
They're absolutely. I mean, this is multiple game suspension right here. It's just. I mean, it's. I hate that anybody even has to watch this.
Yeah, appeal denied. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Headline: Cincinnati, Ohio. Straight out of the Shake My Head file. During a Week 11 football game between the winless Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers, Bengals head coach Zach Taylor used his play sheet to cover his mouth so Steelers couldn't steal his play calls. Coach, you're 0-10. Opposing teams' cheerleaders could have beaten your squad. I know you're trying to keep your incredible, innovative plays a secret, but how about throwing a W on the board, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, we are now into the month of September 12th to be exact, and this means it's time for the leaves to start changing colors. It's time that I can start buying my candy apples in the 3-pack at the grocery store. It's time for pomegranate season. It's time for corporate hacks to start burying our faces in Christmas advertisements like we're puppies who continuously wee on the carpet. It's time for attention-seeking women to pick out their slut doctor, slut cop, slut kitten, slut devil, slut Nancy Pelosi Halloween costumes for next month. Here in Colorado, it's time to grip for another snow, which is going to start flying around here within the next 30 days. Personally, I'm gearing up for another fun-filled season of running California assholes off the road into the median as they can't drive in the fucking snow. But most of all, September is a time for magnified stories of child abuse, weapons, and weed charges. And most of all, choking out pregnant girlfriends as they lay unconscious on a pile of guns. That's right. Tomorrow, it's time for the NFL 2020 season to kick off. Forgive me, but I have to throw my 2 cents in here. National Football League Commissioner Roger Goodell, or Baby Fred Flintstone as I like to call him, is confident that the 2020 season will proceed business as usual without a hitch. With the coronavirus nonsense still with us, no preseason games were played, but the NFL will carry out its season with little to no fans in attendance. Fans who are permitted to attend games in 2020 are required to wear masks amid the COVID-19 pandemic. This doesn't mean every NFL team will be allowed to have fans in the stands, as evidenced by both the New York Giants and the New York Jets, having announced that a ban on fans at MetLife Stadium until 2021. The Kansas City Chiefs plan to allow fans with 22% capacity limit, as we saw this past Thursday night, and the Jacksonville Jaguars plan to allow fans with 25% capacity limit, which is about 15% more than they usually draw on a Sunday afternoon. The Las Vegas Raiders have announced that no fans will attend the 2020 season. That's no big deal, considering most Raider fans are under house arrest and their ankle bracelets won't allow them to travel 100 feet away from their residence. While I can't get enough of the NFL, there are a few things that annoy me. What? Me? Annoyed? No, really. For example, can we please put a slug into the concept of interviewing players on the field immediately after a game? I'm so tired of the God shout-outs and the complete waste of journalism degree questions like, what was running through your head on the last play that won the game for you? For once, I would love to hear a player say, as I scored that winning touchdown, all I was thinking about was how my girlfriend was going to cat bath my shit pipe until the Cosby kids evacuated the building. And while I'm on the subject, let's put an end to the head coach pressers as well. Most coaches don't want to do these damn things, so let's not make them stand at the podium and regurgitate the same scripted answer over a 17-week span. I love how most reporters say that New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick is terrible at press conferences. Well, maybe he'd be a little nicer if you left him the fuck alone and didn't ask him obvious, mundane, brain-dead questions. Hey, blogger bitch, you watch the same game we all did. Rewind the tape and draw your own conclusions, rather than pester NFL coaches like Girl Scouts selling Thin Mints outside a grocery store. And speaking of annoying, with week 1 of the NFL season upon us, it's about time that ESPN dipshits like Todd McShay and Mel Kiper to enlighten us with their weekly 2021 mock drafts. Do you ever notice that we never see Mel Kiper and Elvira, Princess of the Dark, in the same room? Mel Kiper has become as worthless as a peso in a high-end script club. Hey Mel, pop your head out of your groundhog hole about April 10th. Then maybe you can make a prediction that doesn't make you look like a complete tool. With the NFL season kicking off, it's about time for virgins around the country to unite. That's right, fantasy football is here again. Time for Sheldon and the rest of his geek squad to reserve the back room at Hooters so they can pretend they're real sports team owners instead of dust collectors in mom's basement. Some of these guys take this fantasy football shit way too seriously. Then they show up with data and spreadsheets from every player who's suited up since the AFL-NFL merger. When the player they've had their eye on gets drafted ahead of them, they moan like a blue hair when bingo gets called out. Now with the popularity of online fantasy football, sites like DraftKings and FanDuel, you don't have to wait 17 weeks to flush your money down the toilet. They'll just take your money in weekly fantasy drafts. If anybody out there thinks for 1 second that these sites aren't rigged, then I have an oceanfront property I want to sell you. Keep tapping your vein to get your fantasy fix, because when you play against the computer, the fixed algorithms will win every time. With the legalization of sports wagering in the United States, it's been approximated that over $100 billion will be wagered on the NFL games throughout this season. I wonder what the odds are that the Browns, Broncos, and Jets won't win 10 games between them. I'll wager a sawbuck that these 3 teams will be out of the playoff contention by Halloween. With the 2020 NFL season underway, I see the top brass have wiped away their tears of laughter as the resurrection of the XFL has come and gone like a John with an expensive hooker. Vince McMahon's idiotic delusion that he could compete with the NFL is laughable to me. The next time Vince McMahon opens his pie hole, we as a nation need to file a collective restraining order on this asshole. Hey V, stick to what you know best. Steroid-riddled, tight-wearing freaks whose acting is rock layers below porn stars. Oh, and Vince, Rita Chatterton called and told me to go blow yourself. Some things to watch for in the 2020 NFL season. Destination San Francisco. While there are numerous bad coaches in the NFL, one of the worst has to be Kyle Shanahan. In 2017, when Kyle was the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, had the New England Patriots down 28-6 in the third quarter of Super Bowl 51 and found a way to lose. As a head coach of the 49ers in Super Bowl 54, had a lead late in that game against the Kansas City Chiefs and let the Chiefs score 2 touchdowns in the final 6 minutes of the game to lose. I think it's pretty safe to say that Kyle Shanahan chokes harder than a virgin with depth perception and her first cock in her mouth. Destination Tampa Bay. During the offseason, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed the GOAT Tom Brady as their quarterback for the 2020 season. I've discussed this before. I know there are a lot of Brady haters out there who refuse to give credit where credit is due, but if Brady wins another Super Bowl with another team and the haters don't consider him the greatest of all time, well, your opinion is for shit, and you should never speak again. Ironically, the same people who claim Brady is a cheater and a fraud are the same people who think Donald Trump is the greatest president ever. Delusion is the deadliest brain cell killer in the current era. Destination New England. With Brady gone down to Tampa, the New England Patriots signed Cam Newton as their quarterback for the 2020 season. You remember Cam Newton, the guy who, when he's winning, is all smiles and slapping dicks together with his teammates, but when things don't go his way, sulks and pouts like a 6-year-old when mommy didn't buy him the new toy at Walmart. I hope during the offseason Cam took lessons on how to be an adult, because Bill Belichick will have your pouting ass on the bench collecting splinters if you put yourself ahead of the team. Destination Washington, D.C. In case you haven't heard, the Redskins are no longer the Redskins. That's right, Redskins owner Dan Snyder caved under the PC pressure and changed the name of his team to the Washington Football Team. Come on, Dan, really? Snyder caved when Nike and FedEx threatened to pull out if the name wasn't changed. Dan sold himself out for a few bucks. Well, Danny boy, enjoy your 3 wins while playing inside JetBlue Stadium. As I wrap up, it has been brought to my attention that many Republicans are going to boycott and not watch the NFL ever again. Yeah, sure you won't. It amazes me what stupid nonsense falls out of people's mouths on a daily basis. These sheep are going to protest the NFL when they have no fucking clue what they're protesting. It all started with the Antichrist, Colin Kaepernick. In 2016, Kaepernick knelt during the national anthem at the start of NFL games in protest of police brutality and racial inequality in the United States. The actions resulted in a wider protest movement, which intensified in September of 2017 after President Donald Trump, who apparently can't mind his own fucking business and has to make everything about him, said that NFL owners should, quote, fire players who protest during the national anthem. Of course, the right-wing nutjob sided with this lunatic and thought that the kneeling players were disrespecting the flag and the veterans who fought for our country. So let me ask the boycotting assholes a question. When you're watching the NFL on television on Sunday, Monday, and Thursday, and the national anthem is being played, are you standing in your living room with your hand on your heart and your MAGA hat off? I'll make a wager that you're sitting stuffing your fat fuck face with Funyuns, Cheetos, and pizza. So I don't want to hear a goddamn word out of your Hippocratic yap. And while I'm at it, let me educate you about your wonderful President Donald Trump's hard-on against the NFL. In August of 1984, the USFL, the United States Football League, voted to move from a spring to a fall schedule in 1986 to compete directly with the NFL. This was done at the urging of the New Jersey Generals majority owner Donald Trump and a handful of other owners as a way to force a merger between the leagues. As a part of this strategy, the USFL filed an antitrust lawsuit against the National Football League in 1986, and a jury ruled that the NFL had violated anti-monopoly laws. However, in a victory in name only, the USFL was awarded a judgment of just $1, which under antitrust laws was tripled to $3. This court decision effectively ended the USFL's existence. The league never played its planned 1986 season, and by the time it folded, had lost $163 million. In layman's terms, the NFL gutted Trump's team before running it out of business, and then gave him 16 cents before kicking him to the curb. So much winning. In conclusion, for the record, I'll be watching every minute of every game this NFL season. I don't care if the players kneel, shoot steroids into their cock on the sidelines, or Las Vegas Raider players cap their fans on the strip Tupac style. And to all the Trump supporters with the secret swastika tattoos, you can hate Colin Kaepernick all you want, but just remember this: the NFL is still the biggest thing going in this country, and the Super Bowl is still the most viewed event in the world. If you refuse to watch, then don't watch. Trust me, the National Football League won't skip a beat if 100,000 bloated, pasty white, cross-burning mental midgets don't turn on their television sets from September through February. you do have other options. I hear Ted Nugent will be performing in the basement of his local strip club. That's my take, but then again, what the hell do I know? So, let me go ahead and, while I'm at it, let me go ahead and give my closing statement. Let me punch it up here. Let me give my closing statement, and then I'll get out of here. So as you see a lot of shows do, they give their predictions for the season. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing and see how right or wrong I am. My prediction to win the AFC East between the Bills, Patriots, Jets, and Dolphins. Never bet against Bill Belichick. I'm going to take the Patriots to win the East. As far as the North goes, Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Bengals. I'm probably going to take the Ravens, even though the Steelers probably have the best team in the AFC this year. But I'm going to take the Ravens because I like Lamar Jackson. As far as the AFC South goes, I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans to win that division. And the Houston Texans coach won't make it through the season before he gets run. As far as the AFC West goes, this one's a no-brainer. The Chiefs are going to win this thing and have this thing wrapped up by Thanksgiving. As far as the NFC, I'm taking my Dallas Cowboys to win the East. We'll see what happens. I think Washington's going to be terrible. Philly's not going to be any good. The North, I've got the Packers winning the North. Aaron Rodgers is still a stud. As far as the South goes, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Never bet against Tom Brady. And as far as the NFC West, I like the Seahawks to win that division. I think Arizona's too young. The Rams are too erratic. And Kyle Shanahan's a terrible coach. Seahawks, Buccaneers, Packers, Cowboys, with my two wildcard teams going to, I'm going to say the Saints and possibly the Niners. We'll see. Chiefs, Titans, Ravens, Patriots, with my two wildcard teams going to probably the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills out of the East. When it's all said and done, my Super Bowl prediction, I have the Baltimore Ravens defeating the Green Bay Packers in this year's Super Bowl. We'll see if I'm right. You never know. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now. I'm having a lot of turmoil in my life right now, so I'm going to, this will be the last podcast that I shoot for a while, and I'll explain to everybody once the dust settles. That's all I got for now, and I'll chat at everybody soon.